The 70s, who could forget Richard Petty's handlebar mustache or the slick back hair, the sideburns, and that heritage really continues on to today. And when you look at the great match it is with Suave Men, they've been around since 1937 providing hair care products for men. But this year, introducing a new line, Suave Men Heritage Edition. And taking a page from the past, but also a page from the new with shampoo and styling needs. And I don't think anybody had better style than your dad, Dale Earnhardt, the man who helped with that from cut to cut was Steve Ellsworth from Annapolis, North Carolina, also my barber. And do you remember when the Biggie first walked into your barbershop?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, it was here's the big guy, the guy that's coming up. You know, he was an Annapolis hero. He was just beginning. He was kicking in, and I was like, this is a privilege and honor to be able to do this. And I was very intimidated by the intimidator.
When you look at the Big E, his style was unique, but he was always very particular. Was there one thing that you always had to focus on for him, whether it was trimming up the mustache or the sides? Or what was he most wanting you to focus on?
The first 3 times I cut his hair, I couldn't touch the mustache. You know? I finally talked him to let me touch the mustache. And when I cut it a little more like mine, which, you know, your dad liked that big bushy mustache. And he said, oh, Lord, he said, Wrangler's going to fire me, Wrangler's going to fire me. And I thought, this guy was never going to come back. But he did, and eventually brought this guy a few times, and the rest of the family, and even cut all his siblings' hair, yeah, and mother and grandmother's hair also.
When you look at society today, now 70% the stats show of men, they're interested in their own personal style, but only 20% actually use products made for men. Do you see that a lot when you?
I see that a lot. Men just tend to use the products that's in the shampoo, the shampoo and the products that's in the shower that their girlfriends or their wives use. You know, it's formulated for women. About 90% of the women have hair color or perms in their hair, and those products are more designed for that. And Suave has the products that are designed for men's hair.
So when you look at your place, now the Big E went there, it's almost like a who's who in racing come through your doors.
A lot of you guys did at some point in time, yeah. Still a few of them, yeah.
Bono Mannion went through there, Steve Park, and you know, Dale, when you look at your personal style, how would you describe it?
I think, you know, I like to stay pretty basic, not much to it. I grow a beard every once in a while, and my girlfriend Amy and my mom eventually talked me into shaving it, and then I just try to sneak it back in there. But you know, I've been going getting my hair cut locally around the house and for years, and it's you know, I just keep it pretty simple. I like to keep it short, and you know, no frills. But you know, that's true about hair care products and using what's formulated for men. I mean, we are all guilty of getting lazy and grabbing whatever the girlfriend or the wife is using, and you know, that stuff's not made for men. It's not made for your hair, and so it's important, I think, that people, you know, realize that, and the guys out there stop being lazy and get the hair care products that are designed for our hair and for our needs.
They don't smell like flowers, right?
Yeah.
It smells like a man. It don't smell like flowers, right?
You know, and for Dale, for you, you know, seeing someone like Steve Ellsworth, who your dad, and you're so passionate about your heritage, family, and racing, and to see somebody that spent so much time with your dad, is it cool for you to get a chance to check in with Ellsworth, you know, every once in a while and say hi?
It's great to, you know, Dad had to trust the man, right, to go get his hair cut by, and you have a good relationship with your barber, and I'm sure him and Dad shared some great conversation. So it is unique to tie all this together. A great idea by Suave and their marketing team to pull this all together and bring in a unique individual to tell his side of the story that I think we all want to hear. I don't even remember going and getting my hair cut. It was so long ago, but to you know, to hear the unique stories about the mustache and all those things is a lot of fun. It's a real treat for me. think it's a side of Dad that I don't think any of us have ever seen.
You know, and Regan Smith joining us too. How would you describe your style, and has your wife kind of helped you with your hair care line?
Yeah, my style's probably the same as Dale's. Simple. You know, get the beard going, but I try to keep mine a little bit shorter, a little bit more tamed up most of the time as much as I can. And you know, for me, it's a struggle just to keep the hair growing. So what I want to make sure that I can, you know, show that off and make it look good. So a little pomade or something like that in there, and you know, as was mentioned earlier, it's you know, it's always embarrassing if you get lazy and accidentally grab your wife's product or something like that. You walk out of the house and you got the pretty smells, and you get some of the interesting looks, and I think that's the great part about the Suave line is that you know, you get more of that guy smell, and you don't necessarily have to worry about people looking at you like, what are you trying some new perfume or something? So that's always good.
When you think back through the years and you go back to a certain time, you're like, okay, this hairstyle is killer. This is perfect. And then 15, 20 years later, you look at a picture and you go, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Did you ever have a moment like that?
Yeah, I actually had one the other day myself. Yesterday, somebody posted a picture through my Twitter account, and I guess when I was like 17 to about 20, I thought just completely shaved, almost bald was the way to go. And with me having a little bit lighter colored hair, and it was even lighter back then, when you took a picture, it literally looked like you had no hair whatsoever. And Megan's been very influential in me actually having hair, because it's about the time I started dating her was when I started growing a little bit of hair, and she seemed to like that better, so we stuck with that.
Dale, for you?
Most of my friends, when they see pictures of me from years ago when I was younger, they swear that I had a mullet. I don't believe I've ever had a mullet, but every time they see a picture of me when I was a young
That's
teenager.
probably the haircuts that you weren't forgetting I gave you.
It's a little long in the back, not that long. But so, and there's some where I thought it looked cool and it looked terrible, but probably too much product on several occasions. But you know, again, like grabbing the mousse out of the cabinet that my sister was using at the time, or just, you know, trying whatever I could to fit in or look good for the ladies, and not using the right stuff.
Did Kelly fire up on you about using her stuff?
No, not really. She was a great sister. She's pretty easygoing.
All right, we're going to open up for questions out in the audience. Any questions from Regan or Dale? Claire?
I have a question for the barber.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, it's really cool that you're here, and I was thinking about sitting there and having Earnhardt in your chair, and how a barber's got to keep confidences, you know? And I'm wondering how you would describe him just as a person coming into your shop. So many people have not had the chance to interview or meet him, Dale Sr.
Well, it was a privilege and honor to do his hair all those years, because as big as he was, anybody would love to cut his hair or said they cut his hair. So it was wonderful. You know, as well as anyone else, he had his moments. And sometimes it was just wonderful. And sometimes he would actually go to sleep in the chair. He would say, I haven't sat still. You know, I cut his hair at 5:30 in the morning before, like 3 or 4 times. You know, he would call me and he wanted to get a haircut. And I didn't have any openings, and at the times he could come, and I said, well, how about that 5:30 deal? And he'd usually come in with me a sandwich, you know, an egg sandwich or something. And one day he finally said, you know, this is not fair to you or me, we're gonna quit this, you know. But then I actually went to the shop quite often to cut his hair too. He like called me, like say, I got to shoot for COVID tomorrow, or whoever it may be, and I gotta have a haircut. So I kept my tools at home so I could run over to the shop and cut his hair. And while I was cutting his hair, my son was fishing in the pond back there. He always let my son go fishing back in the pond, so, yeah.
I can remember back in 2000, December, I called Ellsworth and I said, Champions Week, I gotta get in, and I'm leaving tomorrow. He goes, all right, be here at 5:50. I'm like, all right, so I get there at 5:45, I pull up, and there's a red Silverado, catalytic converter, still ticking. I walked in, and it's the big meeting. I go, you're in my chair. He goes, sit down, we gotta talk. And he wanted to know all about the new TV package and everything, and sure enough, he was there at 5:50 a.m. to get the trim. So, next question, anybody in the back?
For Dale and for Regan, is getting a bad haircut, is having a bad season kind of like getting a bad haircut? Kind of, you know, you can't really do anything right away, but maybe make small adjustments and hope things work out eventually.
I don't know. I guess I've never thought about that, so I don't know that I have a good answer. For
Yeah, I think there's some good comparisons there.
I had a question for Dale. Dale, you talked about the progression of your personal style in the grooming sense. I want to get some insight into the progression of you as a 20-year-old starting out in NASCAR to where you are now. What's it really taken? What's the big part? Has it been discipline? Has it been ambition? What has really defined you to this point?
I think that in my 20s, I was more interested in having fun. And the older you get, the more you realize how much focus and work goes into being successful. And when I was younger, the success came